Who was it, you or Morrissey?
The vocal tunes?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Morrissey came up with the vocal tunes. I wouldn't have possibly been able to come up with those. I hope they came up with really. So, no, I'm very more than happy to give Morrissey the entire due for that. So, I didn't do that. I mean, I don't know, maybe some things were suggested for music, but I don't think so. I mean, on that point, I think that's the thing with those vocals. Morrissey was, I think one of the many reasons why he was so good was because he knew what the norm was and deviated from it. I think all people who are really great are able to do that. I mean, look at Salvador Dali, you know, when he goes to paint, he can actually paint a clock that looks like a clock, you know? He can paint cheese that looks like cheese, you know? Or Picasso's that draftsmanship was absolutely incredible, you know, it's utterly, you know, precise and exquisite. But people who go off and do so in such a specific way, do so intentionally and create a new kind of form. Well, that's the way I read into it anyway, because I know that you can sing melodies that would have been slightly more conventional. So, yeah, I thought that was absolutely brilliant the way he does that.
Okay, cheers.
This man, hi, just to follow up on that question. I know that obviously the relationship between yourself and Morrissey for me was massive inspiration, really successful, but were there times where it was difficult, when your ideas clashed and you had to sort of one you know, convince the other for something, or was it always by and large quite consistent?
Was it a time when it was difficult? On the songwriting stage? Oh, in the songwriting?
Yeah.
No, never. I mean, the songs. There was one area. I won't say it was one area, but there was never ever any difficulties in when we were writing songs and putting songs together. There was never any problems. There was never any issues. That's one of the reasons why we wrote so much. Just keep ourselves busy. You know? But there wasn't really any issues, personal issues either. It's very, very simple. You know, people have this idea about my relationship with Morrissey as being fraught. Well, it only became fraught when it stopped. And for 5 years, you couldn't really, you'd be hard pushed to find two people who were almost telepathically tied. So I don't remember ever it being difficult until the very end, which is why it ended. So, and it wasn't a personal thing anyway, really, why it ended. So the songwriting thing was really, really easy. But like all things that are really inspired, you know, we didn't have to work at it at all. I just came with what tunes that I wanted to do. He put his vocals on top, he loved the tunes, I loved the vocals. It's all good. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Just so one last thing, quick request. I'm coming from London to see you here. If I could give you a copy of my band EP, which is you may be interested in that.
Right, okay, well, we'll do it outside.
Johnny, in the early days, in the mid days of the Smiths, you had a really particular style of playing that involves some really intricate picking on something like Go Afraid and this charming man, which I still haven't had anybody be able to do properly.
Right.
And songs like The Headmaster Ritual were done in a very particular tuning. Did you intentionally go out to create something different, or was it just something that was natural? It was just your own natural style of picking, your own natural style of playing?
That's a good question. That style did come naturally to me, but there was a really good hand bit of synchronicity with all things, really. In that the time that we were born out, when I formed the band, it was post-punk. As I said earlier, I was too young to actually get involved in a lot of punk gigs and gigs unless I snuck in. And so post-punk, the movement that came afterwards, was my generation. That was the coming of my generation, I think. And so that may be one of the reasons why I actually personally think that it was a more interesting time in punk rock. slight theory about it as well, unsurprisingly, is that for me, musical punk rock was not the letter A in the new alphabet, it was actually the letter Z in the old alphabet. I'll tell you why, because there was Chuck Berry in it, there was the Rolling Stones in it, in punk rock. If you listen to the Sex Pistols, as much as I love them, inspired by Johnny Thunders or whatever, you know, there's a lot of Rolling Stones in there, there's a lot of Chuck Berry, the guitar player, there's a lot of punk rock in there. In the bad stuff, there's a lot of punk rock music. So as a guitar player, or just as a youngster, what happened after that, the aesthetic, it being the last in that lexicon, what was left was an entirely reductionist movement, if you like. You can see it in the clothes. I mean, what happened afterwards, bands like us when we first started, Orange Juice, Joseph K, all those indie bands, the sleeves, the clothes, and the sound was very, very pure. So if you just indulge me technically for a second, when I was playing, why there was synchronicity and why it suited my natural style. This is, I have this theory, I've been asked about it so many times. It suited my style because you have to throw away a lot of stuff. You have to throw away bending of the notes, you have to throw away blues kind of phrasing, you have to throw away blues sound, because that was all gone in punk. There was a blues, you threw away distortion. So what I was left with was a very clear sound, a very skinny sound, no solos, very skinny clothes, very clear, DIY, unadorned aesthetic, if you like. I didn't realise it at the time, but now I look back and see it. I was talking to Peter Marr about it, because Peter Bucket is a little older than me, and the two of us quite often compare to each other. We play that German Nickelback thing. But he was definitely more than a man from the 60s, whereas basically I was left with a set of rules, being a young contemporary guy who wanted to make something that was contemporary. As well as a guitar player, I was left with a set of rules. And luckily for me, that was the way I played. I mean, I could do all this other kind of rock stuff, and I have done and will do, because the times change. But as I say, it just kind of fit perfectly with what I was able to do anyway. So it was conscious. It was like I said earlier, like I knew what I was going to not be. I was not going to Steve Jones. I was not going to be as much as I